Ladies and gentlemen, welcome to another F1 Manager 23 stream on a Friday. My word, this webcam does love a flicker. Just bear with me a second. We don't want my face flickering all afternoon, do we? So let's get that sorted out. Anti-flicker, anti-50. Look at that. Magic. Absolute magic. As I said, welcome to another F1 23 stream. Formula 1 is back this weekend, of course. We've just had qualifying. I managed to get home for Q3 to watch Max Verstappen take pole position, which has been a busy week. I don't know how your week's been, but my word, it's been a busy old week. It's going to carry on being a busy week into the weekend. But of course, we do have our Friday night stream. We are at Catalonia looking to bounce back from the, well, what do we say, disappointing? We didn't expect to be the best at Monaco, but we were. Of course, in the last race at Monte Carlo, we finished P2 and P3. We had two Ferraris on the podium. Probably something that's going to happen in real life tomorrow. Formula 1 Grand Prix on a Saturday? You wouldn't believe it, would you? But yes, we did get two Ferraris on the podium. Charles Leclerc possibly could have won that Grand Prix. Carlos Sainz finishing in P3. Of course, Max Verstappen won the Grand Prix. Where does that leave us in terms of the standings, I hear you ask? Constructors-wise, we are top on 282 points. We are, what's that, 53 points in front of Red Bull Racing. Aston Martin a little bit further back. Driver standings-wise, Charles Leclerc is leading on 169 points. He's 35 points in front of Max Verstappen, reigning champion, of course, Max Verstappen. Carlos Sainz in P3. We've got two Ferraris up there. We are looking rather good indeed. Let's bring ourselves up to date on the car parts development, because that's important, because we have a week between these streams, so it's nice to know what we are actually looking at. Have we got any time left? We haven't. So we look like we spent all our money so far, so we're not going to be improving anything so far this episode. We're pretty okay where we are. If we have a look at the car parts analysis, we are still first in the top speed. We are first in the low and medium speed. We are a very, very decent car. Acceleration is probably an area where we need to improve. But apart from that, we're looking very, very good in this Ferrari. We've had a front wing inspection fail. We need to swap. We'll install a replacement. Have we only got one in the warehouse? My word, we need to get a couple of those made. When's the next Grand Prix? 4 days. So we'll get some of those made. Apart from that, we all look pretty decent, it must be said. Rear wings manufactured. We're in a pretty decent state at this moment in time. Let's have a look at what we can expect then in Catalonia. So, 66 laps around the Circuit de Catalunya, the Spanish Grand Prix, of course. 1991, the first Grand Prix here. They're on about moving it, aren't they? Which I'm not overly keen on. I think I like this circuit. We've got 66 laps around here, as I've said. Car attributes, top speed and medium speed cornering. We are the best at both of those things, so I'd expect a decent Grand Prix indeed for us. The expected strategy, it is a two-stop race from soft, medium, soft, though. You can even put the hards on if you want to. I believe in the past I've gone soft, medium, medium around here, and it's gone rather well. There's not too much apart from that to bring you up to date on. Facilities-wise, I believe we're upgrading the factory. We could possibly upgrade the design centre as well, so I think that might be something that we do. I think we'll do that. Design centre upgraded. So let's get on towards the weekend. We've got a wind tunnel concern, so let's have a look at this. We'll approve that because we've not got anything going on at the moment in terms of development. So we might as well get through all that. Financial report, finances, cost cap wise, we are looking more than comfortable at this moment in time. Development update, Charles Leclerc and Carlos Sainz both doing okay. Charles Leclerc actually went up to 90. He's improved his braking, and Carlos Sainz has got the control and defending up a little bit, which should be rather decent. And the board meeting has gone very well because they're all very happy with us. Right, this is something we need to take a little bit more care with, I believe. Because at this moment, we can see on the right-hand side, we are very, very tired at this moment. So I think we are going to just rest our guys for a little bit. And once they're well rested, then we'll start fixing it again. But I'd rather just minimise mistakes because we've got the car that's quick enough, I would suggest, to make headway here. In terms of the race preparation and performance targets, I think reach Q3 with both cars, that's obvious. I think we'll go for 2 cars in the top 4 because that's something I suggest we should. Paulie, you made it, of course. How are you? I hope you're having a good week, or you're nearly at the end. You're nearly at the end. Every time you see me on a Friday, you're nearly at the end of your working week. I hope you've had a good one so far. We've just been through a few things, not too much to mention really. We're just getting prepped for this race in Catalonia. Finishing position, I think we're going to again go for 2 cars in the top 4. And we might as well go for the finish position streak as well. We'll go for 2 cars in the top 6 for 3 races. Of course, if we have a bad crash, that could be a problem. But at the moment, that should suit us. So that's all the race preps. Of course, we are already at the best time of your week. You're flattering me. Absolutely flattering me, you are. Let's get in to the Spanish Grand Prix weekend because Formula 1 is back, of course. Have you managed to catch any of the qualifying today? Because I managed to catch Q3. I just got home for Q3. So just to see Max Verstappen get on pole position. And of course, he got a nice toe as well on that final lap, Max Verstappen. I'm going to struggle to actually meet the race tomorrow because I've got to travel 7 hours tomorrow there and back to a part of the country to go and look at a house. Tomorrow. So that's something I've got to do in the morning. I'll be setting off very, very early. It was very close. Yeah, I didn't expect it to be that close after testing. I thought we may see the Red Bulls far in advance, but it was sort of covered by 3 to 4 tenths of a second, wasn't it? So yeah, it's looking promising. It might be a little bit more entertaining for the neutral. Obviously, as someone who likes Red Bull, I like to see the Red Bulls in front. But there's a lot going off at Red Bull at this moment in time, isn't there? So it's going to be a difficult start, I think, for Red Bull in particular. Car sets up 8.5 on the front wing angle. We've got a notebook again. Red Bull was trying to play. Yeah, I think so. I think Red Bull will have some amazing pace tomorrow. But it is yet to be seen. Are you going to manage to catch? Are you going to manage to catch the Grand Prix tomorrow? Are you out and about? Because obviously it's a lot earlier in the morning there than it is our time. I think it's 3 o'clock our time tomorrow. So yeah, it should be. I'm hoping I'm going to get back for it. I might just miss the start. I might come in sort of halfway through. 0.8, we're going on the toe out. Right, so let's sim through qualifying. That's perfect. But yeah, he's gonna. If that carries on, I mean, Fernando Alonso. I mean, Nico Hülkenberg getting into Q3 as well was superb. That's a bit ominous, isn't it? My word. Practice 3 results. That's making our targets look a little bit more difficult, it must be said. Setup satisfaction I'll be intrigued to see here because I expected us to be right at the front in this Grand Prix. But at the moment, not so much. Right, let's get into it then. So, 87% and 92%. Let's get the good engines in because I fancy us to do well here. Obviously, it's Carlos. He does. Nico Hülkenberg pulls qualifying laps out so well. We are at Carlos Sainz's home Grand Prix, of course, this weekend as well, in Spain. So something that I'd like to see Carlos Sainz win a Grand Prix for us. Has he won one yet for us on these streams? I'm not too sure if he's won one yet this season. But that's what we're going to do. Hopefully we can get through on just one set into Q3. That is at least the plan. If it works, that would be ideal. But let's get straight out. Let's get straight out on circuit and let's race to glory. Hello, my friend. How are you? I hope you're having a good week. How did the physics test go, by the way? Did you get your results for that? I was going to say, you've got 4 tests in the next... Yeah, what we're checking to which today is I have 4 tests next week and 3 tests on Wednesday. 3 tests on Wednesday, my word. That's a tough old Wednesday, that, I must admit. That is very tough indeed. But no, it's a pleasure to have you in on this Friday night. And if you're just lurking, buddy, or whatever you're doing, thank you for taking your time out. Did you catch any of the qualifying today, though? Yeah, it was an interesting one. Like Paul has just been saying, closer than we possibly expected. Nico Hülkenberg doing absolute bits in terms of a quali lap, getting into Q3. I've got to say as well, I do really like the red not Raging Bulls, RB. I like the Visa Cash App livery. I really think it looks well, especially with the sort of silver Red Bulls on it. You didn't, you were at school, mate. I was trying to get back from work, buddy, so I feel your pain. I caught a little bit of Q3, and that was it. But yeah, it was. I'm looking forward to it tomorrow. Disappointed with Lewis and Alpine built a tractor. They certainly did. Lewis Hamilton, I'm not his biggest fan. Well, I am and I'm not. But yeah, I don't mind seeing Lewis Hamilton struggle a little bit. But Alpine certainly have built a tractor. It made me feel a little better from the YouTube save, it must be said. Especially with sort of cost cap things incoming for next year, it's going to be very interesting. But Alpine certainly not performing to what they would hope. And especially after they had all that sort of turmoil last year, I would have expected a little bit better from Alpine. But just didn't do it, did they? They just didn't do it. Maybe they'll have some better race pace tomorrow. Maybe that's something that they can look forward to. But it's going to be an interesting Grand Prix tomorrow. Fernando Alonso still doing very, very well as well, which we enjoyed to see. Especially as he went on that lap on his that qualifying lap on his own. I thought that were class. Everybody else obviously went out at the end, and he just sort of did his own thing, which Fernando is more than good enough to do. We're going to go out on the same set of tyres again because I feel we'll get through to Q3 on just the one set, which then allows us a soft, medium, soft option tomorrow, which is positive for us.
Green light.
Right, as soon as we've got these guys for Verstappen, look, that's it. Let's get our guys out. Sainz has got stuck a little bit behind Alonso there, but I don't think it's going to cost him too much.
And stay negative.
I'm saying that.
Stay
Leclerc,
negative
1.2 seconds behind Verstappen. That is a shocking lap from Charles Leclerc. Charles Leclerc is actually at risk here now. That is problematic, isn't it, that? Because I think we've got to send Charles Leclerc out on another set of fresh soft compound tyres. Or we could possibly send him out on that again. Shall we try that? Let's send him out on that again. See if he can get a decent lap in on these used tyres, because he really needs to. Nick De Vries might get in his way a little bit there. But Leclerc is green through the first and second. That is a very decent lap from Charles Leclerc on 3-lap-old tyres, it must be said. And I think that is probably going to secure us through. It doesn't look like we've got the pace of the Red Bulls this weekend, which is rather interesting. I expected us to be probably on top, but the Red Bulls seem like they've certainly got some pace. But, of course, in the race, that can all change very, very quickly. If I am lacking a little bit of energy, I were up at 5 o'clock this morning. 5 o'clock. There's a lot going on off cameras and off videos at the minute. Moving house and, well, looking to move house and changing jobs and changing locations and everything. There's a lot going on at the moment. But I'm still excited. I'm still happy to be here. Of course, I'm with a very sort of... I've been scalped a little bit this evening, but it'll be okay for... it'll be okay. Right, we are going to do the old 2-lap run plan, I think. I don't really want... Well, I can use both sets of tyres here. So we are going to do the old 2-lap run plan, which I think normally works for us. So let's get both cars out on track straight away. Which... Whoa, I mean, we're very much out. I love this livery, by the way. I think this livery looks better than this year's livery on the Ferraris. We are a little bit closer together than I possibly would have liked us to have been there. But Charles Leclerc might get a tow. In fact, Charles Leclerc's just getting massively held up. That has possibly not gone so well there. And as we go around again... Charles Leclerc this time looks like he's had a bit of a better lap. He's half a second. Half a second.
So that's a good lap time.
Max Verstappen. That is a little bit concerning for Sunday. My word. I mean, I think we are comfortably in front of... I think we're comfortably in front of the rest of the cars in Q3. But that is a little bit concerning. Right, let's give us a 1-lap shootout then. Get him on a fresh set of soft compound tyres. I am not adverse to using the hard compound tyre tomorrow. But it's something that we've got to look at. Charles Leclerc is going to get to go out first here. As soon as Verstappen goes out, we're going out. So this is going to be it then. This is the Q3 shootout. As long as we don't get any traffic, which I'm hoping that we aren't, which we won't now, because Leclerc is belting round. And as we bring it back down, Leclerc was yellow through the first sector. He's green through the second. Carlos Sainz is on a stonking lap. Green through the first and the second sectors. I don't think we're as quick as these Red Bulls this weekend, it must be said. Charles Leclerc rounding the final corner. Down the start-finish straight, and Charles Leclerc goes up to the line. Does he improve? He's still in P2. He does improve a little bit. It must be said, Carlos Sainz does improve. He's up to provisional P3, is Carlos Sainz. And as we fast forward on, are we going to get jumped by Checo Perez? We are. It's going to be a Red Bull lockout on the front row. Max Verstappen, fastest in every qualifying session this weekend. He's been ominous so far. And yeah, we've got a little bit of work to do, it must be said, for Sunday. But we might get the strategy right. I don't think we got it completely right when we were in Monaco last weekend. I'm hoping we are going to get it a little bit more right this weekend.
With plenty of history under its belt. It was here, after all, that multiple world champion Max Verstappen secured his very first F1 victory back in 2016.
Max Verstappen's very first F1 victory at Catalonia. There's been a few since then, haven't there? But let's have a look. So, strategy. P3 and P4. I've seen many crashes at this circuit. For me, the soft, medium, soft obviously makes sense. We've got the tyre compounds, especially with Carlos, to make that work. I wouldn't be adverse for going soft, medium, medium with Leclerc. So, I reckon if we edit this for Carlos, if we come in back there, that would work for me with Carlos. I am... And what time is that? So that's a 1:24.27 in terms of estimated race time. If we go to Charles Leclerc, has he got two sets of mediums? He has. So Charles Leclerc, could we? Do we reckon we could go soft, medium, medium? Yes, we do. That might work a lot better for Charles Leclerc, this. I reckon that is better for Charles Leclerc. So medium, soft, medium, medium for Charles Leclerc. And we are going to go soft, medium, soft for Carlos. Or are we? Could we go soft, medium, medium with Carlos as well? No, we couldn't because we haven't got the tyres to do it. So it's soft, medium, soft for Carlos. And it is soft, medium, medium for Charles Leclerc. We are, of course, going to push on the fuel to start. And then, really, there's nothing much more to do apart from get stuck into it. So P3, P4, two different strategies. Carlos Sainz at his home Grand Prix. Let's get straight into it this evening. We're not messing about this evening.
As we get ready for 66 laps,
and we want to get straight into it. So, I reckon that's, well, obviously that's the medium compounded tyre, is it? For 2 subs of money. I know, mate. I know. I've seen it go up in the last couple of days. We are 2 subs off. So it's going to get there. He's going to get there. I'm hoping I'm going to be able to keep these streams going for the next, well, foreseeable. But obviously I'm going to have to just play it a little bit more by ear. But yeah, we're 2 off. It's getting there as we go to 5 red lights.
And it's lights out.
And away we go. And Carlos Sainz and Charles Leclerc are going to be wanting to get past Checo Perez incredibly quickly because Checo Perez is on the mediums. Max Verstappen is on the softs. Are we going to manage to get an overtake into turn 1? Perez and Verstappen come ominously close for touching, as do the Red Bull, as do the Ferraris. We've got a yellow flag on circuit. There's definitely been a crash at the back. This could be a very, very early safety car. Are we going to get... No, we're not. It's just going to be a crash. Let's have a look at this. Oh, George Russell in the Mercedes. Let's have a little look at this. And, oh, it's messy. It's very, very messy. It's Pierre Gasly as well, which we don't like to see Pierre Gasly getting smashed off the track. The Mercedes guys not particularly happy either. But, yeah, incident on turn 1, turn 2. But Verstappen and Perez are still going side by side. At this moment, I'm just going to calm down on the ERS a little bit because we are very much in range of them. I don't see the need to push. As soon as Verstappen gets past Perez, which he just has done, now would probably be the time for high overtake aggression to get past that Red Bull. That's the dream at this moment, because if we get past that, we can latch onto the back of Max Verstappen. So as we go towards the end of lap 1, we are... Carlos Sainz is trying his utmost to keep up with Charles Leclerc. We've had another spin on circuit. Let's have a look at this. Nick De Vries. We know Nick De Vries is certainly capable of doing this. It's a poor spin from him, to be fair. Not ideal at all. My audience potentially so bad. 70% of my viewers have gone by 30 seconds. Any tips on how to improve it? It's a difficult one, mate, because I don't think my viewer retention's that good. I try not to make very long-winded intros. I think that's probably one thing that I would say. If you can stay away from doing that, that really helps. I try to keep my sort of intro bit to sort of a minute and a half, maybe 2 at max. I'm assuming, obviously, it's similar content to this, so it's hard. It's hard. I mean, I don't use the face cam on the YouTube videos purely because it's not convenient for me to do so. Like, it's hard to be a bit more on camera. But I am, mate, really. I haven't got the magic formula. Like I say, I'm probably, in the grand scheme of things, I am quite a small... Well, I am a small YouTube channel. And even now, sort of, my viewer retention's not that massive. So, it's going up. Like, the average duration as well is going up, I've noticed. So... I can't really help. Just try and make it as entertaining. Try and make it as snappy as you possibly can. And if you can do that, I think you're in a very good place. Let's just get these tyres now back down to standard. So Verstappen and Perez, as we come on to lap 3, Verstappen and Perez leading the way. Perez is going to be loving this. Perez is going to be loving this because he's latching onto the back of Verstappen. Leclerc in P3 and Sainz in P4. Right, we're pretty comfortable now. This will suit us nicely. Charles Leclerc is actually still burning his ERS, which I don't really want him doing. So if we can stay with the Red Bulls, I fancy us to be pretty good in this race. Leclerc's just got to make sure he sticks with the Red Bull off Checo Perez. And obviously he's going to get DRS here, as is Carlos Sainz as well. Verstappen should pull away, absolutely. Leclerc looks like he's actually struggling to keep pace with the 2 Red Bulls at the moment. We may have to swap the drivers. Yeah, the average duration, mate, it's hard. It's so hard to make it as snappy as you can. But that's all I can say. Just try and make it as snappy and as entertaining as you can, and go for that. Because I noticed, especially when I did the F1, the Football Manager stuff, if I'm sort of droning on about tactics and stuff, some people love it, but some people don't. Like I imagine with my videos, some people just go straight to the races, which is fine. But Charles Leclerc here is really struggling. Swap drivers now, perhaps. It's an option, buddy. It's certainly an option, Jeremy. Welcome in, my friend. We'll give Charles Leclerc a chance to get back up here. If Carlos Sainz catches him, which he's not doing really, is he? I mean, just by putting Leclerc onto attack for literally a couple of laps, that's brought him right back up with Perez. So I'm hoping the Red Bull guys actually start to fight each other, because if they do, we'll be in a much better position. But Carlos Sainz now is doing his utmost to tag onto the back of Leclerc. I simply don't think we've got the pace of the Red Bulls this weekend. Let's look to fast forward on a little bit here. We've got our tyres sorted out now. I think this is Carlos Sainz. It's got to be don't fight your teammate, because we don't really need our 2 guys battling and slowing each other down here. Perez is leading Verstappen. They are changing DRS quite well. But if we've got Perez in the lead, this suits us massively, because he's on the mediums, Verstappen's on the softs. But our soft compound tyres are doing a lot better. I think over the course of this Grand Prix, we're going to be in better nick. So let's just fast forward on again and keep an eye on these times on the left-hand side. We'll fast forward to probably around lap 10. I mean, look at the gap we are pulling on Hamilton, who's in P5 in the Mercedes. This is looking very decent indeed. Pierre Gasly locking up into turn 1.
Now this was at turn 1.
He's in P17, is Pierre Gasly. Let's have a look at this as he goes into turn 1. Just locks up. He's fortunate that the Alfa Romeo just drove past him. Gibbo's Gaming, how are you, my friend? I hope you are doing well. I hope you've had a fantastic week. Welcome into the stream. You will join us 8 laps in at the Spanish Grand Prix. As you can see, we are just tagging on to a couple of Red Bulls. Verstappen and Perez leading the way from Leclerc and Carlos Sainz. Hamilton in P5. Then comes Ocon, Alonso, Russell and Stroll. Right, let's have a little look at what some time considerations we've got to be looking at. In terms of time considerations today, 19 seconds for a safety car pit stop, and we've got 25 seconds for a green flag one. Our tyres are eating away here, which is something that we've got to be very aware of. I think Charles Leclerc is going to be in a much better nick than Carlos Sainz in this race. But yeah, it could be quite interesting. I'm just hoping Carlos Sainz can sort of tag onto the bike, which he's struggling to do a little bit here. We're just going to give him a little bit of deploy to help him along. You've just finished watching the quali for the Bahrain Grand Prix. How did you find it? I thought it was a little bit closer. Got home sort of just for the back of Q3. I'm quite fortunate I finished at 3:30 on a Friday. So yeah, I got just to the back of Q3. I've got to say, I do love the Visa Red Bull Cash App livery. I do very much like that. It's something that I'm impressed with. But yeah, we're closer than we thought. Do we think that Max Verstappen's going to run away from pole position tomorrow? I think there's an opportunity for him to do that. I think that car's going to be very good over the race. Can we stop? I know. Oh my word. How bad were Alpine? I know Race to Glory's just been saying how bad were Alpine on the day. So poor. We have a yellow flag on circuit as we come on to lap 10. What's going to happen here? It's Zhou Guanyu. I didn't actually see the kick livery, which I'm a bit gutted about. I didn't see that. That's poor from Zhou Guanyu, isn't it? Poor from Zhou Guanyu. But yeah, Alpine, I felt so bad for Alpine because they really sort of... They had such a turbulent season last season. And then to follow that up with that tractor, it were just... Yeah. I mean, now they're probably looking at it thinking, maybe we should have put a bit of paint on it just to make it look faster. And I'm actually, where I'm going, I'm moving house very shortly. And where I'm going, there is a circuit, like a race circuit. Now, they do track days. Now, I've had, for the last 6 months, I've had a very old banger car, a Fiat Punto Dynamic, which cost me 400 Great British pounds, which is obviously about, what, $550, $600? So last weekend I went out, I've got this new job, I've bought myself a Mercedes last year, but I've kept the Fiat because the Fiat, and get this, is going to be turned into a racing car. Not a very good racing car, but it's going to be turned into a racing car nonetheless. So my plan is, like Alpine, it's not very quick, it's not very nimble, it's going to be very slow. But what it is going to do, it's going to look like it isn't, because I'm already thinking of putting the Italian racing stripes down it, making it look a bit quicker, because at least if it looks quick, I mean, it's not really going to look quick, but it's going to look a little bit better than what it does. So that's the plan at least, and I'm hoping, once I get settled in down there and I can get this happening, I am hoping to invest in a little camera. I'm looking around as though I've got one. Like a phone camera. I'm looking into a camera which I could mount on the front of the Fiat, and we might start doing some actual track day video log content. Is something I'm thinking of doing, as well as some travel content as well. Probably on another channel, I might start that up separately. So I'm actually looking at not becoming a racing driver, but certainly looking at doing something like that. So yeah. Exactly, all carbon fibre is still slow. Alpine, just McLaren is season except I doubt it. Yeah, I'm hoping they have a bit of resurgence. Exactly, a load of carbon fibre on the Fiat. If I can get a pic, I've noticed Charles Leclerc's just dropped out of the RS. But Max Verstappen's tyres are dying at a rate of knots. Now, I reckon Max Verstappen's going to use the hard compounded tyre. I'm going to see if I can grab a picture of the Fiat. Is my thoughts. So, excuse me if I'm just looking for a picture of this Fiat Punto Dynamic that I know you are all so excited to see how this is going to turn into a racing car. Could I do that? Can I blank that off? Hold on, I'm not that good at editing stuff on my phone. I'm quite good. Oh, here we go. There we go. I am good at editing stuff on my phone. Tell a lie, I'm very good at editing stuff on my phone. Right, that's going to be that and that. And can that do that? Right, so, get this. So, this is going to be the car. This car is going to be the car, the £400 car, that is going to be turned into the equivalent of a Formula 1 racing car. That is going to be the car. So it's going to be nimble, it's going to be quick in the corners, of course. And we're going to channel us into Max Verstappen's and Lewis Hamilton's when we get on circuit. But that's something I'm hoping to bring to the channel, just because I think it'll be a laugh. So that's something that I'm hoping that we can bring on. Let's try and get Charles Leclerc. He's really struggling to get back into the DRS of Lewis Hamilton here. Sorry, of Max Verstappen. Esteban Ocon's starting to catch a little bit, but not too much. So if we just deploy a little bit here. And Charles Leclerc's now well back in the fight. So that's good. Leclerc's back in the fight, as is Carlos Sainz. I mean, this is probably prompting with realistic DRS, mate. Why not? See, this is what we need. We need ideas like this. Let's have a rear wing that actually opens, shall we? I've got to put a spoiler on it, haven't you? You've got to put a spoiler on it, of course. We've got some cars pitting. Gasly and Sargent, are they going onto the hards? They're going onto the mediums. I mean, I'm looking at this now. Do we reckon that we can make these two sets? I think Carlos Sainz has got to come in. I think we need to swap Carlos Sainz onto a hard compounder tyre. Because it's not really working at this moment in time. I think we've got to make some changes here. I think I'd probably risk medium with Charles. I mean, it's going to be tough, but medium with Charles would work. So we are going to bring in, let's have a look. Oh, he's really struggling on the tyres here. We've, of course, got about 25 seconds as well, haven't we? I think we need to bring in Carlos Sainz this lap. I think Carlos Sainz has got to come in for the hard compounder tyre because his tyres are dead. So we're going to bring in Carlos Sainz this lap on lap 15, and then we will bring in Charles Leclerc on the next lap is the plan. And then we're going to try and push as much as we can with Carlos Sainz. Yeah, Mercedes Zero side pod. Yeah, we've got Adrian Newey. We're going to get Adrian Newey in, the equivalent of Adrian Newey, to come and design this Fiat Punto. That is a 1.2 litre. But I'm hoping, strap a camera to it and stuff, it's going to look very, very good. Carlos Sainz's tyres are absolutely dead and buried. So Carlos Sainz is coming in very, very shortly. He's going to come out behind Norris and Hülkenberg, I would expect, Carlos Sainz. But once he's done that, he should be able to move forward. So into the pits comes Carlos Sainz onto a set of medium compound tyres. We can come in for Charles now as well. But Carlos Sainz coming in. This is going to be a big gamble, this, because I expected those tyres to last a little bit better than they have done. Are we going to get a decent pit stop? It's 2.6 seconds. That is, make sure not to do a Mazda spin. I mean, it would be good content. I mean, let's put it that way. One thing, it's incredibly light, the car, as well. So it is a bit, when you turn, it is going to be going a bit of that. Where is Carlos Sainz? Where's Hülkenberg? Hülkenberg, he really needs to get out in front of Magnussen and Norris if he can help it, which he can't. Carlos Sainz just about in front of Norris. And then he's now behind Magnussen. So this is going to be a tough stint, this. Ferrari 2.6 is fantastic, I know. Carlos Sainz has now got some work to do on these tyres. Charles Leclerc is really pushing on the back of Max Verstappen now. He's going to be going full attack mode now, which he is. He's actually trying to overtake Max Verstappen here. And Charles Leclerc is past Max Verstappen and up into P2 just before we come in to the pits. That's just a bit of an ego boost, isn't it, for Charles Leclerc? He's going to have to be very, very cautious on these medium compounder tyres, is Charles. But I trust that he can make it happen. Carlos Sainz is immediately on the back of Magnussen and trying to make moves there. We've got him on high overtake aggression, and he looks like he's got past Magnussen. Verstappen was in as well. It's a battle of the pit stops here. Is it a good one for Ferrari? 2.6 seconds. And I think the better pit stop certainly suited Verstappen there. As they trundle out. Let's have a little look at what's going to happen here for Carlos Sainz. He dives to the left-hand side of, is that Nico Hülkenberg? Lovely work. Past him. And then he's into sector 3. Now, where is he in relation to, I mean, lovely. Right, we've got Carlos Sainz. He's now in ahead of Nico Hülkenberg. Leclerc's coming out of the pits, and there is Carlos Sainz. Now, is he going to be behind his teammate? He certainly is. He's going to be told to not fight his teammate because he can now bed these hard compound tyres in, and Charles Leclerc can make them last. That suits us nicely now where we are with both cars. I'm very, very happy with how that has played out because we're now in clean air. Sainz is on the back of Leclerc. Hülkenberg's had a pit stop issue. I've managed to get AlphaTauri to do a 2.4 in a speed sim. Wow, okay. I mean, that's very impressive. I mean, at least they're not doing what these guys are doing here for Haas, and Nico Hülkenberg drives away, and the Haas... I mean, this guy at the front here just stood looking, didn't he? Just in disbelief there was the Haas mechanic. But yes, we are now trundling up with Max Verstappen. Max Verstappen's on hards. Leclerc is on mediums. I fancy Charles Leclerc to get past Max Verstappen here. So let's see if he can do so. We're coming onto the DRS straight, and we are going to ride on board with the Monegasque driver. Is he going to go for an overtake here? No, he isn't. So we're going to fast forward on. But I'll tell you something. Carlos Sainz, who I thought was on Don't Fight teammate, has decided... Well, I can't really tell him not to now. Carlos Sainz is having a go at Charles Leclerc and just... Right, well, go for it, boys. No team orders at Ferrari. This could end so badly. Could it not? The two Ferrari drivers both get DRS. Max Verstappen doesn't. This is one hell of a drag race down the start-finish straight. And they're both looking left and right. My word, Max Verstappen has done so well to stay in front, or has he? Because Charles Leclerc round the outside is past Max Verstappen. What a move from Charles Leclerc. Verstappen, though, coming back at him on the hard compounded tyre. Everything is happening here. As we can see, Verstappen still sticking his nose in, which I think we're going to get to see tomorrow a little bit with Charles Leclerc as well. Now Charles Leclerc has the inside line, and that should get Charles Leclerc past Verstappen. Lovely work from Charles Leclerc, who can now calm down a little bit on the medium compounded tyre. That is decent work indeed for Charles Leclerc, and Carlos Sainz will be quite happy to be sat behind Max Verstappen now, tagging on these hard compounded tyre. Verstappen's coming back at Leclerc again, though. Let's have a look at this, because Verstappen, once he shoves Leclerc a little bit wide there, and all this battling is played into the hands of Checo Perez. Checo Perez at the moment is lapping in the 119s. Right, Carlos Sainz's last lap was a 117. Leclerc once again will be trying to get back at Verstappen down at the start-finish straight. Whenever I do a new career, I always get the Red Bulls to crash in Bahrain. I made a video from it on Alpha Career Mode, and then started AlphaTauri and did the same again. You get the Red Bulls to crash. How do you get the Red Bulls to crash, may I ask? How do you get them to crash? Do you sort of... I don't know. You're going to have to explain how you make them crash. Leclerc's dropped out of DRS. Are you absolutely having a laugh? Charles Leclerc, what are we doing? How can you be dropping out of DRS of Max Verstappen?
This guy, come on.
Carlos Sainz is getting incredibly frustrated. Yeah, very strange indeed. I'm amazed that he's dropped out of DRS. And now can't get back in it. Well, I can't believe we're going to have to do this. But Charles Leclerc is going to be told to rarely defend and let Carlos Sainz pass. Next, welcome in, my friend. How are you this evening? Did you start a new career save when applying mods, or do they apply to current saves? They apply to the current saves. So obviously I'm doing the YouTube series and this, so I just take the mods in and out depending on what happens. So yeah, Charles Leclerc is now going to be told, do not fight your teammate. That's it. Charles Leclerc, he's had his chance, didn't quite make it work. Carlos Sainz, it is up to you now, my friend, to push on and bring us back up to Max Verstappen. So yeah, it's yeah, you can apply the mods. There is a different sort of modding way that I've not really done. I just do it with the packs mods. There is a way of doing it with Python, and it looks a lot more complicated, but I've not tried that. But certainly with the packs ones, like the liveries and stuff like that, you can change them as and when. Carlos Sainz is having to give it the absolute beans here to try and catch up with Max Verstappen, and it's not exactly working. Checo Perez is coming in swap places of Paula knows what she's talking about, our Paula. She would be with Race to Glory, and of course all you guys on my strategy team here at Ferrari. It's a decent stop for Perez. Let's have a look where Perez comes out. Carlos Sainz cannot get back in the DRS of Max Verstappen, and he's burning these hard compound tyres trying to do it. And I think we are just going to have to say, look, we can't do it.
Focus on tires. Copy, copy.
It's not working. Whatever we are trying to do with these two cars today is not working at all. Checo Perez comes out onto a set of medium compounded tyres. It looks like it's medium softs for Checo Perez. Leclerc is making them last, but Carlos Sainz, we are struggling to get Max Verstappen. We are actually not going to send our don't fight teammate. Just get on with it, boys, because you're going to have to exchange places, and hopefully these two might get... Well, this is helping. This is massively helping. Max Verstappen is getting held up hugely by George Russell and Lance Stroll, and this is going to mean that our two Ferraris, look at them blocking off Max Verstappen. We're going to be right back in the fold in a moment. Just chance, corner before the main straight. Oh, I see, okay. Right, let's fast forward on a little bit now. We are back in the DRS just, and I'm saying just. Carlos Sainz is still in P3. I ain't no strategist, more of a team principal. Mate, that's leader of men, my friend, and women, of course. Now, leader of men and women. Yeah, I've used the pack ones off race department, but can't get them to work unless you don't see the custom. You don't. Yeah, you do see the custom liveries in the menu screens. Have you extracted it? If you go on my channel, have you looked at the video on my channel? I'm not shamelessly plugging this. There is a video on my channel to have a look at about installing them. I think it's about 2 or 3 minutes long. Just make sure that it is only the packs file and that it's been extracted. And that's the best way to do it. And then that normally does work. I've seen somebody on my YouTube comments just before I came on talking about it with Game Pass. I don't use Game Pass, so I'm not quite sure. But yeah, they should definitely work. Right, we've got a yellow flag on circuit. Nothing's gonna. I'd like Carlos Sainz to get out of the way a little bit now. Nick De Vries is providing some fantastic stuff, isn't he? Nick De Vries, yeah, it's in the bid, but mine doesn't seem to work on Steam also. Very strange, mate. Very strange. I don't really know them, pal. Something seems a little bit wrong there. I don't think you can down... Yeah, you can't do it on the... You can't do it on the PlayStation and Xbox, definitely not. It is something that I think they should add on, like creating liveries and things. But mate, that next, I'll certainly have a look, pal, at the end and see if I can work out what's going wrong. Because yeah, it does seem a little bit strange that you've been playing it on Game Pass. Lovely. Ocon leads a GP. Ocon did lead a GP, Gibbo, but for moments he did. Is Charles Leclerc going to get past or what?
We are losing time, guys.
I agree with you, Charles. There's a lot happening here today. Right, Charles Leclerc has got to get past Carlos Sainz. So Carlos Sainz has got to let him go. I've given him ample opportunity now. Carlos Sainz, get out of the way, your teammate. We've got a yellow flag on circuit. Carlos Sainz has let Charles Leclerc go, and he needed to, because I reckon Charles Leclerc is the man who could drag us back up to the back of Max Verstappen. At the moment, Leclerc's got the better tyres and the softer compound as well. If you buy it for the PC, of course, I think next year I'd hope there's a little bit of evolution with the game. It's certainly something I'm hoping to see. But you've got to really, if you're wanting to mod it, of course, you've got to have it on the PC. Perez running wide, turn 7. Let's have a little look at this. Checo Perez, P5 at this moment in time. I mean, it's not ideal. Just off topic, what do we think about Checo Perez's performance today for Red Bull? Not very good, were it? It weren't very good at all. Because, I mean, he was a long, long way off his teammate, weren't he? Which he shouldn't be. I know he's not quite as talented a driver. Carlos Sainz has nearly dropped out of DRS. Whatever I try to do to get these two Ferraris to work together today just does not work. He's going to have to go back to neutral now. I think we're just going to have to calm down a little bit and let this play out. Let's get to when's our next pit stops. Around lap 40, lap 42-ish. Well, if he can make mediums last at lap 40, I'm pretty sure Carlos Sainz can probably do the same. Would we not agree? That looks to make sense to me. Right. Let's fast forward on a little bit now. Let's get towards half distance. Leclerc is right on the back of Ocon, and he's now past Ocon. He's pushing on fuel, but I don't imagine he's lapping any quicker than Verstappen. No, he isn't. I'm hoping we're going to get a safety car here towards the end of this Grand Prix, because at the moment, we are not looking in particularly good form, it must be said. Sainz is now past Ocon. We'll watch this overtake.
Let's have a look at that.
Let's have a look at this overtake. Carlos Sainz past Esteban Ocon. Poor old Esteban Ocon. He's not having the best of weekend so far, is he? If you join this with real life, he's having a tough old time. Here's Esteban Ocon at this moment in time. But yeah, Checo Perez today. I was so disappointed with Perez today, I've got to say, because I thought Perez would be a little bit better than he was today. But obviously he weren't. Right, we've sort of settled in now, I think. So let's sort of fast forward on. Ocon's now into the pits now. We've got past him. And we'll just tick on towards sort of lap 36, lap 37. As we see Charles Leclerc getting past the bike marker there. Let's fast forward on Checo. Perez is on the march. And he's just got past Carlos Sainz. Let's have a little look at this. Checo Perez made that mistake a little bit earlier, of course. And Checo Perez managing to get past Carlos Sainz down the start-finish straight. I believe we turned off rarely defend, so let's just double-check that we did. But hopefully, I mean, this might work for Carlos Sainz now, because if Carlos Sainz can tag onto the back of this Red Bull, that would be absolutely ideal, because that might drag him back up to the front as well. But again, we are going to fast forward on now towards lap 38-ish. Checo Perez is absolutely flying at this moment, and he is now past Charles Leclerc. Let's have a look at this. Checo Perez in the second Red Bull, doing what he can't seem to do in real life at this moment. DRS wide open, and he's past Charles Leclerc on the mediums, and he's already basically got it done before he goes to the braking zone. Great work from Checo Perez. And now Charles Leclerc's got to tag onto the back of him. I mean, a safety car is the only thing that's going to save us here, isn't it? We do not look capable of... Charles Leclerc, I think, possibly does look capable of doing it. But I'm not convinced. I'm not convinced we are, guys. I mean, look at that. I mean, he's just burned us. I mean, I know the Red Bulls are quicker, but we haven't got it. We just simply haven't got the pace. What there is a yellow flag on circuit and a virtual safety car.
So there was a crash.
There is an option here to go hards to the end with Leclerc. What do we think? Let's have a look at this crash. It's Magnussen, it's De Vries, it's oh, whoa, dear me. My word, Kevin Magnussen weren't very happy with that, were he? We have got a VSC. I mean, I would suggest it sort of makes sense now. Let's have a look at the strategy screen while we're trundling round. If we were to pit Charles Leclerc, then mediums are going to be struggling. We'd have to go hards. Oh, it's a tough decision. Do we now pit Charles Leclerc on to medium compounder tyres and take a cheap pit stop? Equally, do we do the same with Carlos Sainz?
Big shunt for him. Possible
19 seconds from Leclerc would bring him out just behind Hamilton.
Yeah, he's okay.
I think we've got to take a gamble here to win this race, and the gamble is we are going to bring in Charles Leclerc for the medium compounder tyre and hope to God that he can make it last.
So box now.
Carlos Sainz I'm going to leave out because I don't think he'll make the mediums last. So how far is Charles Leclerc? Charles Leclerc is quite close. So let's fast forward it round. Leclerc, here he is. Coming in to the pits is Charles Leclerc. He's the only one pitting on circuit.
Copy, understood.
Where is Carlos Sainz? We've maybe left... We possibly could have brought Carlos Sainz in as well. But I think this is a gamble worth taking. If we are clever on the outlap and we make this last, it's a 2.8 second stop for Charles Leclerc. If we can get out, there's a few cars pitting. Magnussen, Sargent. Sargent's gone onto the hards. I am taking a big gamble that Charles Leclerc can make these last to the end of this Grand Prix. I might even go light on the tyres. We are, please, not going to get overtaken by George Russell. We aren't. So, this is the state of play. Charles Leclerc is going to get his tyres. He's going to get everything ready.
Try to keep it smooth.
While we are under VSC, I'm also going to bring in Carlos Sainz.
Box.
Virtual
Yeah,
safety
box.
car is ending. Do we
Virtual
reckon
safety
bringing in
car
Carlos
ending.
Sainz is wise now? Oh, it's a tough one. No,
DRS
cancel
enable.
pit stop. We are going to leave Carlos Sainz out just in case something else happens. But right, here we go then. Charles Leclerc, he's got to get his tyres up to temperature. And then he's got to be very light on him. He's got to whisper to the tyres until the end of the Grand Prix. We need to make sure that Charles Leclerc gets these tyres to the end. We are going to fast forward on a little bit longer now. Until we get to the lap. Carlos Sainz can start to look to come in. Carlos Sainz is 7 seconds back from the Red Bulls. I think we are purely fighting for just a P3 here today, it must be said. But Leclerc has got a bit of battery now. He's got the fuel that he can use as well. We'll push on that towards the end. Ocon, new fastest lap of the Grand Prix, a 1:15.54. And as Carlos Sainz ticks into 40%, I think now, if we look at 25 seconds, where are we? Sainz, 36. He might get a little bit of traffic, but I think he'll be okay. Carlos Sainz is coming in to the pits on this next lap. So let's make sure that we get a good view of this, because Carlos Sainz is coming in for his pit stop. Carlos Sainz under another virtual safety car. Very interesting indeed. That might help the Red
And
Bulls.
here we've got a yellow flag.
Let's have a look at what's happened here.
Let's
We've had
take a
2
closer
VSCs. Oh, it's
Now,
another
this was
Haas.
on the straight.
My word, let's have a look
Not
at
a lot of
this.
wiggle room here. And the contact between the cars, inevitable.
They
And I
absolutely love
imagine
just
their
punting each other
confidence
into...
would have
Look
taken
at...
a knock.
Oh my god, the Alfa Romeo is on fire, quite literally. I mean, he's thinking,
Just
oh
feel
my
the
god. I mean,
frustration from the
look
team
at how
watching
long
on the
he's going to be
monitors.
working into the night now, that mechanic. He's going to be absolutely gutted. But into the pits comes Carlos Sainz for a set of medium compound tyres. And there he is. It's another 2.8 second stop. It's decent. DRS has been disabled. Has it turned to a full core safety car? No, it hasn't. It's still a VSC. I'm surprised Perez and Verstappen haven't pit yet. This is suiting us somewhat. This will also help Charles Leclerc's tyres get towards the end of the Grand Prix. Carlos Sainz comes out in P7. And let's have a look how far he's behind Lance Stroll. 2.9 seconds. So he can get his tyres now up to temperature. We can harvest on the ERS with both cars, which is ideal. Let's fast forward a little bit. I want to ensure
Start button on.
that by the time we get back to green flag running, we are ready to rock and roll, which we will be. Energy stores good. By the time we get back to green flag running, which we are now going to be doing, we are going to be pushing on absolutely everything to ensure that on this restart we get the best options we possibly can. The gap to the leaders, they have not pit under VSC. They have stayed out of Verstappen and Perez. This could be still in the mix here. We are now pushing. We are up to temperature on Charles Leclerc. And as soon as we get up to temperature on Carlos Sainz, we are going to go standard on the tyres. And then that should do us. But now it is time for both cars to push. Leclerc especially. Leclerc's got a chance now to really... Verstappen did pit under VSC. Did we miss that? Verstappen did pit under VSC. Verstappen's back out onto a fresh set, so we're miles behind Verstappen. But Carlos Sainz is just making his way through the pack. It looks like he's now overtaking Lance Stroll beautifully, as Carlos Sainz does, because he is a smooth operator, as we know. It's lovely work, that, from Carlos Sainz. We've just got to make sure these mediums get to the end. Verstappen looks absolutely odds-on for a Grand Prix win here. But Carlos Sainz has just set the fastest lap of the Grand Prix. Charles Leclerc's going hammer and tongs to try and catch Verstappen. Could we possibly get 2 Ferraris on the podium today? You wouldn't back against it. Let's fast forward on a little bit more. We'll go to about lap 53. We'll see Sainz overtaking George Russell. And here is Carlos Sainz. He's got some traffic to negotiate, but he's passed the Mercedes of George Russell. It's good, clean racing from Carlos Sainz at his home Grand Prix, and that is wonderful. And now he's got an Alpine in front of him. We know all about how bad Alpines have been so far. I am burning Carlos Sainz's tyres like you've never seen.
Look after
But he's now got in front of him Esteban Ocon. And we will ride on board with Carlos Sainz. Will he manage to get a move done here? He's looking left and right. Esteban Ocon, 43% soft compound tyres. Can't quite get him yet. Charles Leclerc still pushing on the fuel as well. He's chasing down Max Verstappen. He can see a Williams. He can't see Verstappen. But we will fast forward on once again. We'll get to around lap 50 odd, I think. Possibly when Perez pits. I think it's probably a good time to come back. Carlos Sainz is really not getting past Ocon. He now has only just. That's took him a long time to get past Esteban Ocon. I think that's the camera angle, isn't it? But there we go. We can see he got DRS as well, which was absolutely crucial. And Carlos Sainz is up into P5. Lovely work from Carlos Sainz. There is one man on this track who hasn't pit yet at the top, and that is Checo Perez. Now, is Checo Perez going to leave himself time to get back past everybody? That's going to be crucial. We can now take it a little bit lighter on the tyres. Everything is in order with our cars at the moment. I'm hoping Leclerc... Right, Perez is in. Let's have a look. He's onto a set of soft compounded tyres. Where is Checo Perez going to come out? Checo Perez being my probably disappointing driver of the day in real life today. I know that sounds daft for somebody who's in P5. That would be helpful if he came out behind George Russell, and he has. He's onto a set of softs, but he's got some traffic to get past, and he is a good 19 seconds off the leader, but he is on fresh soft compound tyres. I would expect a charge from Checo Perez. Carlos Sainz may have to do a blocking job in a few laps' time, and it might be less than a few laps' time, because as we are ticking on here, Perez is gaining not at a massive amount, it must be said. I mean, those tyres are going to die quickly. Carlos Sainz is going to have to defend for his life when he comes up against Checo Perez. But at the moment, he looks like he is doing everything needed. And as we get towards lap 54, we now see Checo Perez behind Carlos Sainz. And this is an important moment, because Carlos Sainz has got to defend from this Red Bull, make his tyres go off, because this will not only benefit him, this will benefit his teammate, and of course the team as a whole, because if you didn't know, we are top of the Constructors' Championship at this moment in time, and that is somewhere that I'd particularly like to stay. So I'm hoping Carlos Sainz, if he got on the back of the McLaren, that would be ideal as well, because Checo Perez is going to be getting all so frustrated behind Carlos Sainz here. But Carlos Sainz at his home Grand Prix could be quite the hero if he manages to just hold off this Red Bull of Checo Perez, whose tyres will die towards the end. Probably not quite at the rate of us. But here is Carlos Sainz. Can he defend? Remember, he improved his defending in the bits between this Grand Prix and the last one. He certainly improved his defending, and he's defended it for about one straight. I mean, that's upsetting, isn't it? Because that's just upsetting. We saw it live, so we don't need to see it again. But Checo Perez now is going to... Oh, and he's got DRS. Of course he's got DRS. If Carlos Sainz could have held that off for like another couple of moments, we'd have been laughing. But we could really do with this McLaren getting in the way, which I'm hoping it's going to do. Let's have a look from Carlos Sainz's point of view, because he's watching this unfold in front of him. That McLaren is getting in the way a little bit. It's going to get in our way. Oh my goodness. Who is that man? Lando Norris. I expect better from my Andretti Cadillac driver than doing what he has just done. That is so annoying. And Carlos Sainz now, he's never in a million years going to catch Checo Perez. It's all about now if Charles Leclerc can hold off the charge of Checo Perez on soft compound tyres, which at the moment you would suggest he's just about doing at this moment in time, is Charles Leclerc. So Charles Leclerc doing what he's got to do here. We're just going to have to go a little bit lighter on the tyres.
Copy.
We have got 7 laps to go. Perez is gaining, but not at the rate of knots that he possibly would want to be. He's down to 2 seconds now. Perez's tyres on 46%. This is looking a little ominous. Ominous? I can say the word. It's ominous. Looking a little bit ominous at this moment. I think this may be a Red Bull 1-2, especially when that happens, because Checo Perez is now in the DRS of Charles Leclerc, and we know what we've got to do. Always defend. Okay. We need these tyres of Perez to die off, and I don't think they're going to do. Straight away, Leclerc's under pressure, and Checo Perez has got all the grip in the world to ensure that we can't stay with him. And that, I think, ladies and gentlemen, is going to be a Red Bull 1-2. It was a lovely move, to be fair. In fact, we'll watch it again. It was that good a move. Let's have a look at this. He got DRS fair enough, but then to do what he did here, he just pulls to the outside, does Checo Perez, and then he's got him under braking. We can't do anything about that. Yeah, frustrating. I think probably the key word there. Can Charles Leclerc stick with him? I doubt. And in fact, I say I doubt. He's not, as a Perez has got us. And that, ladies and gentlemen, I think he's going to be that. As we fast forward to the end now, it's just important that we ensure that we make sure our tyres get to the end and that our fuel. Because if you watch the recent... Oh, Max Verstappen running wide. Let's have a look at this. It's a shame he didn't go off into a barrier, Max Verstappen. He's done what his teammate did. That's probably just a little bit of complacency from Max Verstappen, it must be said, in P1. Disappointing from him. But as we go on to the final lap of the Grand Prix, which is now... This is it. We see Max Verstappen leading the Grand Prix for this final lap. We've got both our cars at the moment conserving on tyres. We've tried to do everything to catch the Red Bulls today. We simply haven't had the pace. Just the 1 lap left, Charles Leclerc. And Verstappen, really, he's just trundling around. We'll fast forward him on because he's that far in front. Verstappen is going to come round the final couple of corners. It's been a simply lovely race for Max Verstappen. And as he comes round the final corner, Max Verstappen will win the Spanish Grand Prix. Checo Perez will get the fastest lap as well. And get P2. It's been a good race for Checo Perez. The first of the Ferrari boys is Charles Leclerc, who, to be fair, has made those tyres last. He's across the line and Carlos Sainz follows him. We said we'd get 2 cars in the top 4.
The pace was...
The pace was good, but not where we wanted it to be. I fancied us to be a bit better this weekend. But let's get to the podium because that's...
P4.
It's not the worst result. Let me know what you think. Could we have done anything different? I think we had to gamble on the VSC. Would you not agree? Max Verstappen's going to love this, isn't he? And Perez.
And it paid off with an impressive podium finish.
I think we've got to give Checo Perez a lot of credit there, and the Red Bull guys loving life. Oh, frustrating. We've not won in 2 races on stream. But Leclerc seems happy enough at this moment in time. Charles Leclerc celebrating.
Podium number 8 now, I think, they've reached the season. That's really impressive.
We've got to come back stronger at the next Grand Prix, which will, of course, be next Friday night. We'll have a look. He's got the champagne going, Charles. He's used to that, though, isn't he, Charles Leclerc? He's probably used to the champagne in Monaco. I've lost my mouse button. Yeah, he's probably used to the champagne in Monaco, you probably would say. But there we go. Verstappen from Perez, from Leclerc. We still seem pretty in high spirits in the Ferrari garage. I think on the Ferrari pit wall, I would say I'm probably not. Verstappen from Perez, 114.8. My word, that was some lap from Checo Perez. Leclerc in P3, Sainz P4, Hamilton P5, Ocon P6. Go on, Esteban Ocon. Lance Stroll P7, Russell P8. Then comes Fernando Alonso in P9, and Gasly in P10. We did have 3 DNFs. One very spectacular one as Valtteri Bottas's Alfa Romeo decided to set on fire. Nico Hülkenberg in the Haas and Yuki Tsunoda in the Alfa Tauri. Drivers standings-wise, Charles Leclerc still leads, but his gap is cut at the top to simply 25 points now. 1 race win and a DNF will put Max Verstappen back on top. Carlos Sainz on 125 points. He is 34 behind Verstappen, and Perez gains on him as well. So it's definitely a battle between Red Bull and Ferrari, and it's shown in the constructors as well. 309 points. Our gap is cut to 36 points at the top of the constructors. It must be said, Red Bull are starting to pull that ground back. We've got to get that development sorted on the car again. I might have to spend a little bit more time between when the next ATR period comes, which is then on the 26th. So we've only got one more race before that, and that is the Canadian Grand Prix. Canadian Grand Prix, is that a sprint weekend? Of course it isn't. So we will be back, all being well, we will be back next Friday for the Canadian Grand Prix. I hope you've enjoyed that. Thank you so much once again for spending your Friday evening or Friday afternoon or part of it with me. We've got the proper Formula 1 back this weekend as well, which we're all excited about. So have a great weekend. And I shall see you hopefully next Friday for another stream. Thank you all, guys. And yeah, have a great weekend indeed.